Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Getting on My Nerves with Sophie and Angie. And today we're going to be talking about pacing, and we want to give you a little bit of, tips and advice along the way throughout this podcast, because we have to become very select with our plans and our schedule, and we have to stick to a routine. And sometimes that's difficult in our day and age.
Hey, everybody, it's Angie. Sophie and I wanted to talk today about how we pace ourselves when we have things to do, and how also that we've learned how to say no, and how we do that so that we don't push our bodies to the max. It's not about offending anyone or feeling guilty or anything about it. It's just simply laying that boundary down and saying, no, I'm not able to do this today. But then there's other days where you are able to push through. And so we're going to give you some tips and tricks that we use to do that.
Definitely. And I'm so sorry about my dogs in the background.
It's okay.
It's that time of day over here because schools finish and work finishes. So everyone that walks past gets a bark from them. So I really apologize for that.
They're saying hello.
Madness. So today we just really wanted to go through how we have to pace now compared to what we used to do back in the day when we didn't have an illness. I mean, I used to swim for GB, so literally I was 24 hours in the pool, I'd be at school, I'd be in the gym. Literally, I didn't have time to chill out. It was all go, go, go. And then when I obviously became poorly, it was a whole new world I had to adjust to and come to terms with the fact that my body didn't bounce back anymore. I had to cancel plans. I had to plan. I had to have enough rest time between each activity that I did. And that was something that I wasn't used to. And I think it can really send you off when you've had such a busy, manic life up to being poorly. And then we go from having every single hour filled to then finding ourselves having to be really selective and having a good sort of chunk of time at each point to have to rest and recover, recharge. And it's difficult for us to adjust to.
I agree. Because for years, I was in a different mode. I was a stay-at-home wife and mother, and I was doing all the running and cooking and cleaning and doing all of that, and literally not having a moment to myself, not understanding what self-care was. I did do some self-care for myself, but when you're in that mode, it's your family's first and you're taking care of them. And then for me, when everything came crashing down, for me, my body just gave out. So I didn't have a choice. And that's when I became bedridden, and I was bedridden for a good, let me think. It started in December 2014 through, I don't know. There was times where I was able to get out of bed, but for the most part, for the next 3 or 4 years, I was in bed for most of the time, except if I went to a doctor's appointment or something. I did make a couple trips home, but that took so much planning in itself to do because I had to go see doctors. So it's just when everything comes to a halt in your life. So I had no job. I had, no family to take care of. It was just me being in bed. And that is when your mind, really, you go to a dark place. I will tell you that. You go to a dark place, but you got to pull yourself out of it. You can't let yourself stay there. It's okay to stay there to, process what's going on. But if you stay there too long, you won't come back.
Yeah, you have to allow yourself to grieve and mourn, because it is a big life-altering circumstance and situation that you're going through. But at the same time, I think you have to, like you said, get yourself out of it and try and see the positives, try and find the silver linings, and really sort of act on gratitude, and even listing 3 things a day that you're grateful for. It could be a cup of tea, it could be your bed, it could be a nice warm shower. But those things help you sort of get out of that black hole, because you can see that there is still glimmers of hope in life. And also, I think when you first become poorly, you still haven't, you still got the brain of a fit and healthy person where you think, I can still do everything. It might hurt me, I might struggle, but I can still do it. And then, like Angie said, it all comes crashing down because your body can only take so much. And then when it does come crashing down, I think it hits you even harder because it's like the ton of bricks. It's the realization that actually we can't push through, and we do have to pace, and we do have to learn to say no. We do have to learn to set boundaries and know when to stop. And that can take some years to figure out because it's different for everybody.
It is. I think the hardest thing is I don't think the hardest thing is saying no to others. I think the hardest thing is saying no to ourselves, because we've always been able to pull ourselves out of it. And when you get to that place where you're so poor with your health and if you're bedridden or, you're not able to do things. I mean, I was to a point where I wasn't able to even get up to go to the restroom. I had like a pot by the bed. It was that bad. And I even lost like the ability to walk. I woke up one morning, stood up and fell straight to the floor because my legs just wouldn't work. So it's very humbling to have all of that happen to you. And because in your mind, you think because nothing has happened to you, you're indestructible. You're not, but in your mind, you've always been able to push through because you've had that determination and that strength. And not that you're not strong, you learn a different strength when you go through something like this, but it's learning to say no to yourself and listening and respecting your body. That is key. And that is how you're going to make it out of it, is by listening to what your body is telling you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as we sort of adjust, we get used to pacing, and then pacing becomes like our new normal and like second nature to us. And it doesn't seem as like scary and difficult as what we first thought like it was going to be. Because I think sometimes you think, oh my gosh, like I don't want to lose my old life. I don't like this new life. But with like anything, once you adapt to a routine and get sort of things in the day that you enjoy doing, whether it's cooking your dinner and making sure that you allow yourself time to do that every day, or like sitting and watching a film with a loved one at night, like those little things will just really help you like relax into your new situation and circumstances, because we can become very defensive and also become our own worst enemy because we think we're the burden, we're the problem. Like Angie's saying, we're not strong enough, when that's not the fact of the matter. It's the fact that we've gone through something that, our bodies are really struggling, and we have to listen to our needs and wants and take care of our body, because our body is our temple and it does so much for us. It keeps us alive. It keeps, thriving every day. It doesn't have a break. It doesn't have a vacation day. And, we need to be kinder to it. And by pacing and really listening to it is helping us and helping our bodies.
I agree. I even knew. I think too, like the respecting our bodies and not, I have to say, even to this day, I still have like, or when I have to say no to something, I have this feeling of I'm not living, I'm existing.
Just surviving. Yeah.
And so you have to get out of that mindset. Cause like Sophie said, when you take the time to be grateful for, even you can find one thing to be grateful for every day. I say that because you woke up today. You're grateful to be alive. You're grateful to take that breath. You're grateful to be able to see. You can hear. If you can't do those things, be grateful for something else, that you're able to breathe on your own. If you're not able to do that, be grateful that you're still here because you have a purpose. If you are here, you still have a purpose. And finding that purpose is not only strength for yourself, but it's strength for others too. And you inspire people, whether you realize you're inspiring people or not, just by getting up and doing something, even if it's just to go outside to breathe some fresh air and be grateful for that. Those few minutes outside is going to help you reconnect yourself to nature, reconnect yourself to just appreciating all that's out there. And you'll start to get a deeper understanding of why you're going through what you're going through. And I always say this too, Sophie, is like I have days like this myself where I'm like, why is this happening? Well, instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this trying to teach me? And you'll find a whole different perspective on everything.
Yeah, definitely. And I think like you said, sometimes, we forget how healing nature is. And when we're in that black hole, we don't want to go outside. We don't want fresh air. We think, oh God, I can't even face it. When actually just literally stepping outside or being wheeled outside or just sitting in a chair outside will do so much good. Like hearing the birds sing and just having some sun on your face and just fresh air will boost you mentally and physically more than you realize. But I think sometimes we get stuck in that hole and we think, don't want to go outside, don't want to do anything, I don't want to move, like I'm just too in my own head. And sometimes you've just got to appreciate that what we have around us, the free things that we have around us, can be really healing to us.
I agree. And I can say, even when here's a little something that when I would be going through a really, really trying, hard time, I've seen hearts my whole life, and I always see them in different ways. And people know this. They'll still to this day, like yesterday, I had a friend send me a heart that had appeared on their counter where they had spilled something the night before, and they got up the next day and it had dried. The water had dried in the shape of a heart. And they said that they thought of me first. And because I've always been like, oh, a heart. Oh, the hearts to me were, and I figured this out after some asking for some answers and receiving them, that the hearts are a message. They're a sign from the universe, from God, however you want to see it, that you are loved and you're going to make it through. Because here's my philosophy with my hearts. I usually see 3 in a row, and 3 is a very good number. And so when I see 3 hearts, because yesterday I got the heart from my friend, and then my mom came in and said, look at my hair, look at my bangs. And her bangs had formed the shape of heart. It was so crazy. And so that was my second heart. And then later in the day, I saw a third heart. So it's like, I have been going through a trying time. And it's like when I receive those hearts, and they'll come out of nowhere. I'm not looking for them. They just happen. And so you may see it, I've had ice cream drip on the counter before in the shape of a heart. I mean, the craziest ways to get the hearts. But it's the universe telling you, keep going. You're going to make it through this. This is just another obstacle you're going through. This is just another trying time. There is brighter days ahead. Don't give up. So find your heart, find your daily heart in whatever it is. And you don't want to look for it. Sometimes you get bombarded with it, especially if you're in that poor me phase because I've been there. There's nobody to say that they haven't. But when you're in that poor me phase, I mean, a lot of times you'll get bombarded with stuff, and it's almost like the universe or God is like trying to shake you and say, stop it, but it is like, it's just something like that. And just, like Sophie said, however you can get outside, even in the wintertime. And here's something else I've done for years. When I would go to the beach, even before I lived in Florida, I would have sand on hand. So if you have something of the earth, you have sand or you have dirt, you can go outside in your yard and dig up some dirt. Keep that inside for when it's raining or when it's cold in the wintertime, because I'm from Indiana and it gets cold there. You don't want to go outside. Have that earth, something from the earth inside your home so that you can place your hands or your feet in it. That's grounding. That is keeping you grounded with the earth, whether you realize it or not. A lot of people like to play in the sand. It's calming. There's the dirt the same way. It's connecting to the earth. That is what is going to recharge you with those negative ions.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, obviously, we're bombarded with social media posts every day about sort of like self-care, self-compassion. And it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be expensive. Just do the free things and find what brings you joy in that kind of way. And you don't have to compare yourself to anybody else either. Someone might like their cup of tea and that just sets their day off correctly. But you may not be a tea drinker. You may not find joy from that. You may find joy from baking or just anything that you can do to just raise your mood and do things for you. You don't have to be doing what Sarah down the road's doing just because she's seeing results, because everyone is very different, and what works for you won't work for someone else and vice versa. So I think also, like, don't get like caught up in that comparison cycle. And I think you can also get sort of caught up when you're seeing other people's routines and what they're doing, or like how they're treating their health and what works for them, because our bodies are all made up really like completely differently. We're very unique. So we need to just take advice from people, but also listen and engage and be connected with our own bodies and minds to know what's actually right for us. Like we are today, we're giving you advice, but what works for us may not work for you. But we have to go through that sort of learning and trying it to see if it's right for us or not.
Okay, so I was thinking of this while you were talking. I was listening to you too, but I was like, okay, like our 3 or 5 top tricks that we do. Excuse me, I don't know what's going on with my voice today. 3 or 5 top tricks that we do that will snap us out quickly, that just about everyone can relate to. So we can pick from different genres. Like for me, being a mother, hearing from I haven't said that on here. I'm a mother of 2 children. I have a beautiful daughter and a beautiful, handsome, strong, both my children are strong, son. And if I hear from them, they call or they send a text, that will lift my spirits so high, just to hear from them. And they say they're so busy right now because of their ages. They're 20 and my son's going to be 23, but my daughter's 20. She just turned 20, but they're so busy. My daughter's going to school and my son he works and he has a YouTube channel, and my daughter, she's got a really nice boyfriend that he just seems so good for her. That makes me happy to know that they're living their lives and they take the time to say, "Hey mom, I'm busy, but I love you." That lifts me up. Also, like, I'll take pictures of stuff. If I go out for a walk, I will take pictures of whatever, because the clouds may look like something, maybe it looks like angel wings or something. I just appreciate my surroundings. Even if I'm indoors, if I don't feel like going out, my mom's dog, Ellie, I'll take pictures of her. We got feral cats out front that we feed, and we have 3 that are kittens, and they're the most soothing thing to, like, either one of them, the dog or the cats. If you pet them and they're being loving to you as well, you're giving and receiving that unconditional love. That's something else that brings me joy. What else, Sophie? I think I did 2 or 3.
Yeah, you did 3 there. You did good there. So I would say mine, like, I am a snuggler and a cuddler. So I do like to have a snuggle with James, like when he gets home from work and we're like watching just rubbish on the TV, and we just have that time, just us. Even though we're watching rubbish, we're spending time together, and I appreciate that. And then obviously I don't have children, but my dogs are my children.
You're fur babies. They're your fur babies. Well, yeah, I don't have a boyfriend. I don't have that snuggle thing, so I got to do it with the dog.
Yeah. So basically, sometimes when like James is not here or whatever, like even during the day, and I'm like, I've got bad gut issues or whatever, like the dogs know, and they'll come and sit on my stomach and they'll give me a hug, and they'll just tell me that they're there, or they'll just like give me a nudge, like, yeah, I'm here. So I really appreciate that. And also, like, I love to walk when I'm feeling well enough. Like, I love taking the dogs out for a walk and just doing 30 minutes with my music in, like I zone out when I've got my music in, and just like, again, just seeing them happy and me sort of giving them happiness also like gives me time to sort of clear my mind as well, because I think I do find nature very grounding and soothing, and doing it in the morning, I feel like it sets the day off right for me and just gets my day going. I know that James prefers to take them at night, but for me, it gets me clear. I've had time to like think and just chill out before the day starts.
I will tell you one thing I like to do when I can get out is I like to go to the beach, and in the evening, like we're taping this at the end of July, and it's not going to air until this episode probably won't air until September or October sometime. But there's a meteor shower that happens around this time of year. Every year, it's the Perseids meteor shower. And I enjoy that. I enjoy all meteor showers. There'll be one in December as well. But this one is the biggest because you can see like up to 100 meteors an hour. So if I'm at the beach, I love watching it there, but Mom and I can watch it in the backyard because we also can, we're in Orlando. So out our back door, like off the back porch is, you can see when the NASA launches things, and the night launches are so cool because it lights up the whole sky. There's something, even if you're in the house, there's something that you can find that will bring you, like when I was in bed, I used to like, and I still do it because I've done this since I was a teenager, where people call them vision boards now, but back then we just, yes. Well, we would just cut phrases and things out of magazines and like put them on a cardboard. Yeah. And you would but you would make one for your friends. And this was back in the, late 80s, early 90s, before vision boards existed. It was our way of doing it. There's always been a way to do these things. But I would do that. I would cut out words that I was like, whether it said sparkle or if it was, strength or brave or whatever, living life. It just, you find all these phrases and you can cut them out and you can put them on a board. And when you're finding yourself feeling low, you can look at that board and remind yourself who you are, because it's just because you're going through this doesn't mean this is how you're going to be forever. It's not, because it's up to you how you're going to get through it and what you're going to learn from it.
And I think, you've made an important sort of point there about hope, because I think you always have to keep hope in your heart. I think if you lose that hope, then you've given up on yourself. And that's really when things start to snowball in the wrong direction, is when you begin to give up on yourself and lose hope. So I think it's really important. And these little glimmers of hope that you have in each day and that you're grateful for can really help steer you in the right direction and just keep you on track and keep you, going in the right way, and just have hope and be sort of willing to commit to healing as well. Because I think sometimes we can get defensive and think we're never going to heal, we're never going to move forward. And that also puts up that wall that we can't break through. You have to have hope, you have to have belief, and you have to trust that you can do it and believe in yourself.
I was hoping you were going to keep talking because the grass.
Oh, sorry.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so loud. And I was like, oh, wait, they're not going to hear that because she's talking. And I was like, keep talking, Sophie, keep talking. Oh, but I think window now. So it's like, you guys.
You can't get much less to dogs.
No, that is what Sophie was talking about, is 100% spot on. Never lose hope and never lose your faith or your belief in not only yourself, but in the fact that you're going to get through this. Because in the end, we can be sick for a very long time and we can be down for a long time, but it is not where you're going to be forever. And it really is your mindset and how you handle things is how you're going to get through it, how you're going to improve, and you're going to start living your life again. Now, you're going to live your life again every day to the fullest. We hope so. We have hope of that. But the reality is that you're still going to have days where you have PJ days and where you're not feeling like it. Just like me, like if I make an effort to get up in the morning, like with Sophie, where we have things planned, I'll put my face on. But I will not lie to you. There are days where I don't put my face on because I know I'm not going to see anyone, and I know I don't have anything to do. So, but it makes me feel better when I put my face on. So, as my grandma would say, put my face on.
But obviously at the end of a podcast, we always like to end on a positive. So I think like my positive for today would be that both myself and Angie have both been at points where we didn't think we could get through this, and live through it. And we've both come out the other end and come back stronger. You know, we're not perfect. We still deal with our health every single day, and it stops us from doing a lot. But we've also sort of jumped, skipped everything, knocked the hurdle over to get to where we are today. And that's because we didn't give up. So I think it's really important to maybe like look to people who are fighting, and they are fighting really like hard and strong, because they will come out the other end, and use that as empowerment to keep you motivated as well.
I agree. I think I gave the grass cutters are back. I'm sorry. I apologize.
It's okay.
Like Sophie talks and it's like, oh, here they come again. See, we can laugh even when we're talking about a serious topic, because we don't take ourselves that seriously, do we, Sophie?
Definitely not.
Bless it. It's can you hear them?
No, I can't hear them. They're not as loud as my box anyway.
Okay, well, maybe that's a good thing then. Maybe I'm okay. Well, I think that we've given people tips, and our top tips and tricks on things that can help them. And maybe that will inspire something inside of you that will say, you know what? I like to do this, or I love to do this, and I've let that go by the wayside. I'm going to bring that back in and help me find myself and my purpose again. You know, like you lose a sense of your purpose. So just stay focused. Don't lose hope. Don't lose faith. Believe in yourself, and believe that this is just a temporary setback. It's going to improve, but it's up to you.
Yeah, absolutely. It is up to you, and you have the full control. This is your journey. This is your story. This is your life. You're the author. You write the chapters. You sort of put the whole story together. You are in full control. So use that control wisely, and just live to the fullest, and do what you can to bring joy to your life every day.
All right. So that's our podcast for today. We thank you for joining us. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Nerve of Mind. And we also have want you to like and subscribe to our channel, so you can find more tips and tricks and more inside information on how to deal with things that get on your nerves, and things that get on my nerves and Sophie's nerves.
Thank you so much for joining us, everyone, and we'll see you in the next one.